mic settings here. I understand that I was a little quiet there last game, but like I said, my voice isn't really important. It's Dylan's voice that's important here, so it doesn't really matter. But
Thank you, thank you.
but anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and jump on to game two here, and they haven't really started the pick and ban phase, so there's a little bit of a lull that we can talk over right now. So Dylan, Dylan, what do you think Team Great can do in Champ Select to be a lot more effective?
Not really sure. I think they're just gonna have to try to take this Ziggs away because it just offers way too much lane presence and map presence, and it gets ahead easily. And especially with Gerg being able to play it, and really, they're just gonna have to look to really get high priority picks on the AD carry and mid laner with what they really want. Particularly bot lane. I'm not really sure where the Vayne AD carry was coming out, picking that into the Jin Morgana. But I think they just need to get their bot lane situated and look to counterpick the rest of the game.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And there comes the Ziggs ban second ban right there.
And that's the correct ban that they should have at this point. And so team grabbed them by the Teemo, saying, you know what, we're not going to change anything. Going to go ahead and ban the Zed, ban the Malzahar, ban the Syndra. I mean, why fix what's not broken? You know, they're going to leave the Vi open more than likely. Or rather, maybe now they'll try and actually first pick the Vi. And on the other side, waiting for ban three from Team Great, I'm actually thinking they might ban out the Vi here, and it would be really smart in my opinion because Ziggs and Vi definitely did, you know, some major work. Um, Now that you have the Ziggs a little bit under wraps, and the third ban Kennen. Okay, so that's gonna be target banned over there at Gnarls Barkley. I I don't understand the thought process behind that, and there it is, the first pick Vi, like I said.
So they're gonna get clumsy back there on that Vi because he's very very comfortable on that, and he's shown that he can pick priority targets with his ultimate and try and snowball his team.
I mean, why not? He put out such a great showing. Damn it, ban the Vi. I'm tired of playing her. Well, I mean, why fix what's not broken, dude? But yeah. In any case, just I mean, why not ban out the Vi? I and here I understand that Urion really doesn't like playing the Vi, or rather, is not one of his strongest picks. But at the same time, you gotta ban it. You gotta ban it because Opie had such a miserable time mid lane, game one against the Vi, especially once she hit six. So it's like yeah, you know, you're not gonna play the champion, but you help out a homie is the way that I want to see it, the way that I want to say it. You help out a homie that way, you know, because now you don't have to worry about your AD carry or your mid laner getting destroyed. Yeah, I just don't. And
Yeah.
he opts to the first pick Nocturne, so
And
uh,
then we see the Morgana going over to Team Great this time.
I like it. Morgana definitely had a lot of say in that game with the crucial spell shields as well as Morgana binding. And it's not exactly the hardest champion to play, if I'm going to be completely honest. As far as supports go, it's you level up your Morgana binding or your spell bind. I think that's how it's called. And
Dark Binding.
dark binding. There you go. You're way better at this than me already, and I've had to practice. But yeah, the dark binding, and you just hold black shield until you really need it, and you move on with the lane. So I know Nocturne is actually a really huge favorite of Urion right now. He's really deep into those assassin style junglers, and I've also in the PMA LCS we've seen him go absolute monstrous on the Nocturne. So I'm really excited to see him play a champion that is more designed for assassin and has a lot of built-in protection because of that too.
Yeah, it's going to be very nice for him to be able to pop in there. And if you have that Morgana on the backside, throw a black shield on him, and he just goes and all straight to that back line. He can't be crowd controlled. He'll just have his way with them on the end of that.
Yeah, and also you really don't need to give him the spell shield because he has a spell shield of his own.
Right, but every little bit helps.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, hopefully he can two shot targets by around 20 minutes in. So
Yeah, we'll see how well farmed up. He did a fairly good job of getting farmed up early on that Diana and being a pretty strong force in that mid game there, but team grabbed him by the team was just too far ahead by that point for him to do much. We'll see what he can do playing a very similar champion to that.
yeah. So I'm really curious to see what Psycho Boy has as an answer to this Jin. Um, I would be very surprised if he went Vayne again. I understand that that's his most comfort pick, but it's not effective, and you have to take that into account at some point. Third pick Pantheon, coming out there for Team Great. I think that may be going over to Bounty. I don't exactly foresee OP going mid lane Pantheon. I could be wrong. But the whole host of ranged mages that Greg can pull out, I don't really think that would be in OP's best interest if it does go into the mid lane. So I'm definitely thinking it's gonna go top lane Bounty.
Yeah, and Pantheon's a very nice bully up in that top lane. He can usually get ahead early and try and shut down the enemy top laner, and I think that's really what they're looking for because Gnarls Barkley Shen, while it may have been outshone a little bit by that Ziggs out there, he was definitely putting in the work, ulting the targets he needed, and he got a good lead on Bounty there.
Hmm. Really looking at this team comp here from Team Great so far. The Nocturne, the Morgana, and the Pantheon, as opposed to the Janna and the Jin pick coming out from Team Grabs Them by the Team. And a fourth pick, Ezreal. I like that pick. I like it because it's safe. I like it because it's safe. I'm not exactly too proficient on the Jin versus Ezreal matchup, but in bad situations, he can arcane shift away from any danger that really comes at him, plus the flash, plus the Morgana spell shield. So he's gonna be able to stay safe in lane, and I really think that was the best pick for him.
Yeah, and if he can lay out a couple good Mystic shots through minions and keep that Jin back a little bit, he can definitely stay up and farm, get a little strong, and getting that Mura mana, he'll have a nice mid-game spike to try and push his team through team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. Fourth pick, Oriana. All right. So we're seeing Gerg 7 here coming off the Ziggs into an Oriana, and Gnarls Barkley in the top lane actually gonna say, all right, you know what, let's duke it out in the top lane, and they are going to fight with that Fiora pick going up there.
Yeah, although I wouldn't. We may see this Pantheon be flex pick in the mid too, knowing that Oriana pick mid. Pantheon does pretty well. He can jump in on Oriana, and she's very, very weak to assassins in that middle lane. That Pantheon could very easily come in and try and force Greg out of farm, pick off a few early kills, and really push through the mid lane and get the Pantheon ultimates roaming down bot. I think I'm interested to see in their fifth pick where they'll go with that.
I'm also pretty interested, because I believe, well, like you said, the Pantheon could be flex. Um, and actually, it wouldn't be the worst idea because at that point, if Bounty could play something like a Nautilus, it could absolutely just take Fiora out of the picture. Granted, Fiora doesn't get ahead early, but a lot of that tankiness that Nautilus boasts from the mid to late game, it could really, really do some damage. And a fifth pick and a Vigar.
Yeah.
And a fifth pick Vigar.
All right.
So it's gonna be Pantheon top. So, hmm. You know, the Vygar pick isn't exactly the worst here. You do get assassinated by the Vi. You can get curtain called by the Jhin as a Vygar.
Going.
But beyond that, you're relatively safe. John is not going to be looking in for any picks. She's going to be looking in for disengages. Fiora doesn't have any substantial hard form of CC, and you can easily cage her up in that aspect.
Yeah, no, I really like this Vygar pick with the Morgana bot. They have good zoning potential to keep a greater part of Grab Them by the Teemo off of a team fight with that event horizon and the dark binding there. They can just keep the carries back while they shred down the tanks, or get some nice picks with that.
And especially if he can get stacking, he can get his Maelstrom stacking early. Because it is an infinitely scaling champ. That is something that we have to see. So, if he can farm up relatively well against Greg on that Orianna, um, he could get enough bonuses to where 10 minutes into the game he already has a free needlessly large rod on that passive.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he does with that farming. He was forced off pretty hard last game, but if he can stay in there, farm up that passive, he can put out some damage. Like, there's no stopping a Vygar once he's way snowballed in the lead.
Absolutely. So, I didn't say that so Team Great, we said, didn't really have a game plan last game. I think they do now, and that is explode. They're going to try and make whoever it is that they get with the Event Horizon, the Pantheon W, and the Morgana Binding. They're going to be looking to just, like I said, to explode whoever it is that they pick out as fast as humanly possible, and to get that 4v5 and get a lot of that siege. That's another thing to note. Pantheon isn't exactly the best at sieging, and neither is Nocturne. Ezreal's okay, and Vygar is not really going to be able to siege up much until he gets a lot of AP, or until he starts to really belt on a lot of items and AP. So it'll be interesting to see. Whereas on the other side, Fiora can split push, and she can split push predominantly well. Orianna has phenomenal wave clear to be able to pretty much counteract any sort of siege that Team Great can put out. And Jhin, I mean, although it wouldn't be the best, he could curtain call the wave away as well, and has a form of wave clear in that sense. So, I don't really know how the tower fights are gonna play out. Because if anything, I would think that Bounty would probably try and split off, and get a lot of attention away from the mid lane, and maybe Urion or Opie can grab another pick on, say, the Orianna that's trying to wave clear. Maybe Psycho Boy on the Ezreal can get a really nice snipe with that global ultimate. And then as well with Morgana's constant form of CC as well.
Yeah, and it really looks like Team Great is trying to set up this 1-3-1 where they just have Pantheon and Nocturne sitting in side lanes, very, very hard to duel. You definitely have to send people at them, or they will shred down turrets. And then you got the Vygar and Morgana, just they can stop engages, and the 3-man can just walk away. And then if you do split, Pantheon's got his Grand Skyfall, Nocturne's got his Paranoia. They just hop over and jump right into a 5v3. So I think Team Great definitely a lot better on their draft. They have a more realistic focus on here. They actually have something the team is trying to accomplish, and let's see if they can play that out.
Absolutely. One thing that we do have to note though is that the Pantheon will end up start falling off around the, I believe, the 25 to 30 minute mark. So, and Fiora's the Fiora's the grand duelist. So, really, what is Bounty gonna be looking for, uh, come post that 20 to 25 minute mark when he starts actually falling off on that champion? What exactly do you think he should be looking to do? Because he will be able to split push, but as soon as that Fiora or the Vi come into his lane, he's not exactly going to be able to 1v1 them.
Yeah, and really, I'd like to see him just start to build tanky towards the end of this match if they go that late, and he can put the pressure on early, try and keep that Fiora back. But come the time Fiora's scaling up, you have Vi with her denting blows scaling in, and you have the Jin's poke and the Jan appeal. He's not going to be able to get in there anymore. He just needs to sit on top of his Ezreal and Vigar and just tank for them and let them put out the damage, because neither team really has the beefiest of tanks. Vi will get up there, but she usually starts damage early. So there's really not looking to be someone too tanky, and it's just going to have to be Bounty's job to do that.
Right, right. Yeah, especially I see what you're saying, because if that Vi comes in on one of his carries, he can just easily CC her, and they could probably get an easy pick because, uh, to be fair, at the same time, Clumsy Chocobo loves to really go attack heavy on the Vi. Doesn't really build a tank item up until maybe his third or fourth item. So that's definitely a viable strategy that that Bounty can put up as a defense for his carries and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you think a level 1 is in order? A level 1 gank or a level 1 cheese?
I think Team Great has a very excellent level 1. If Pantheon starts off with that Aegis of Zeonia and you have the Dark Binding, they can easily walk in, grab a quick pick on someone, and walk out with an advantage. But I don't know if we'll see it. They were very loath to do the early level 1 last game when they had the Scion, who's a very, very good level 1 pick. If he dies, he can usually take 2 or 3 people with him in the early game.
Mm-hmm. So pretty standard keystones here coming off from everyone. The Warlords on the Ezreal, Deathfire Touch on the Veigar, and yeah, going really, really assassin heavy. The Pantheon and the Nocturne are both going Thunderlords. So some pretty standard stuff. Nothing really too special here.
Although that Ezreal with the Warlord's Bloodlust, I don't know about that. Usually you'll see more of the Fervor of Battle coming out on Ezreal, because he'll want to get in there and get some quick autos, and his Mystic Shot counts for an auto attack, so he'll stack that up really fast and just get bonus damage in and usually win trades off of that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
It looks like Team Grab Them by the Teemo pinging that Pixel Brush.
Oh, and that I wanted to play Urgot. Jesus. My team's wrong guy. Alright, well, it doesn't look like they're actually opting in for the invade again. So looks like we're gonna get some pretty standard starts.
30 seconds until
Not the worst thing in the world, to be completely honest, because like we said, OP on the Vigar scales infinitely, and Elliot on the Nocturne, if he gets big, like around the 10-minute mark, it's gonna be really, really hard for Team Grab Them by the Teemo to try and answer him, especially because that paranoia is just. I mean, it does its job. It does its job, and it does its job very, very well. So.
Yeah, paranoias me every time I see it come out. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Well, I really was interested. I almost wanted to see him pull out on this Rengar this patch, especially with Rengar's huge strength on the lethality. And I know that's a champion he's done very well on in the past. I was hoping for it, but
I don't know, man. I don't know why he didn't opt in for Rengar. I don't think he's been practicing a lot, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I think he's had a little bit more practice on the Nocturne, so maybe that's why he's trying to, put some more matches in on the Nocturne instead of the Rengar. But I definitely agree with you. I'm like, especially with lethality right now being the way that it is, it's pretty crucial. But we're not exactly the Rengar mains here.
No.
So, well, that was cheeky. Will just getting the easy spell snare and actually losing the trade because of the fourth auto there from Jhin. So Gnarls Barkley getting an early level 2 there in the top lane. See if Elliot tries to go and gank somewhere. That doesn't look like it. Looks like he's gonna play it safe and actually farm. Or actually, no, he's actually thinking about it. No, he's
Looking for that Scuttle.
yeah,
But Clumsy's coming up. We may see a fight over the Scuttle Crab. He's got that level 3 advantage.
Yeah, and Elliot's not gonna take his spell shield level 1 too. He's gonna have to flash here because it doesn't look. Oh, he flashes into the wall, but unfortunately, Bounty doesn't respond.
Yeah. No.
I'm not really certain what happened there in their comms. I'm not sure if Elliot was asking for help or it fell on deaf ears, but that's really strange. Bounty didn't respond at all, and he did have the oh, and a flash Q coming out from Clumsy Chocobo over the Raptor pit. Doesn't have anything to show for it though. But yeah, that's really strange. Hopefully they can work that out, because that's not the best way to go, if I'm gonna be completely honest.
No, Bounty should have seen that Fiora roaming down and immediately followed after, but he just sitting up there taking his farm. It did give him a very, very nice farm advantage, but I don't know if that offsets first blood.
Oh, and Opie actually gonna die here due to autos. Okay, so Team Great needs to buckle down here. 2-0, not exactly the end of the world. They need to just settle down. It might be that they're too restless coming off of that last game, especially with Bounty not really responding, and then Opie more or less not understanding that that Orianna auto attacks get stronger with
Not respecting that Clockwork windup passive there at all. Just gets shredded out when he was already poked low from the Vi gank.
Yeah, I think Team Great needs to really just settle down. They need to farm. They need to be like, all right, you know what? It's fine. We're fine. Everything's good. Will Brooks hitting Morgana bindings like it's nothing. And Jhin is actually out of mana, so both Psycho Boy and Will Brooks can try and make something happen here. Fling Panda not exactly in the best mana situation either. So, but Will doesn't exactly have the best mana source right now either. So, honestly, Psycho Boy needs to be looking to get a little bit more aggressive here. Trying to make something happen, because he does have a couple of arcane shifts as well as those mystic shots in tow to be able to do a little bit more damage and to more or less force them out of lane, because now's the time. Urion actually not respecting the Vi. He's gonna get assaulted battery, gets the proc on, and actually Orianna flashing over the wall.
He's got his ultimate up. We'll see if he uses that, if they try to pick it up.
No, he missed the slug. I don't think they're going to be able to get it. Clumsy Chocobo charging, but he's not going to be able to go over the wall. And all the meanwhile, Bounty actually picks up a kill on Gnarls Barkley there in the top lane. I believe he tower dove her. Or I don't know if Gnarls Barkley doesn't have 6, so it might have been he tried to trade just a little too late there with the Pantheon.
Although that Pantheon level 6 not really giving him any sort of dueling power spike over top of anyone. His ultimate's not going to be used in the middle of a fight. All he had was the extra damage and health off of the level up.
That's right.
So may have just poked out Gnarls Barkley too much before he tried to fight him.
I think that's probably what happened. Very nice disengage there by Opie. That's so underrated that a lot of Ziggs don't think about something like that, you know? You just throw up the event horizon, walk into it, and then, you'll be fine. Gnarls Barkley actually opting for the trade here. Doesn't have level 6 yet.
Yeah.
Not really sure why he's trying to trade that early. It's definitely better if you just wait and conserve a lot of that health up until when you hit that level 6.
Yeah, and that Pantheon Aegis of Protection really doing its job there, stopping a lot of the Fiora damage from coming out, allowing Bounty to have great trades and gain a good advantage in this lane.
Bounty can honestly kill Fiora at this point. He has a
Bearded Bear Lever pushed up a little bit, fighting them 1v2. Forces the flash out of Will Brooks down there. Janna's nowhere near in sight, and he just pushed up on him himself and
got the flash from the Will Brooks. So it looks like Yurion is here in the top lane. Not gonna really make anything happen here. Does not have his paranoia yet, so definitely gonna have to be looking for something there. You know, Bounty can honestly just go in for the kill right here, and he finally understands that, but it's a little too late. So not really a lot of action, not as much as there should be, as compared to the last game. Clumsy Chocobo hasn't, minus the gank over there in top lane, hasn't really been able to do much, and Gnarls Barkley is just outright dead.
Yep. Paranoia comes in, Bounty jumps in with the stun, Riposte comes too late, and Fiora goes down.
But honestly speaking, I don't think they really needed all those ultimates. You know, if Elliot maybe would have just came up the lane, you know, and caused Fiora to maybe flash or maybe something else of that manner, he probably could have then used the paranoia to go in and finish off the kill. So, you know, I guess they decided to play it safe and to actually make sure that the kill comes through. So you can't blame them for that.
Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Ultimate's not the longest of cool. Well, Paranoia is a pretty long cooldown, 150 seconds there, 2.5 minutes. But he's just gonna want to farm up now that he's got that. Top has huge pressure. I wonder if we'll start to see him start to roam with that advantage soon.
He should. He absolutely should at this point.
Yeah, bot lane, that Jhin and Janna combo really pushing the Ezreal Morgana back in lane really hard.
Oh, absolutely. But again, something that we're not really talking about is CS. You know, it's the CS aspect again. Greg right now in the mid lane has a 24 CS lead on the Vigar, and
Oh, we're gonna see a 4-man bot from Team Great here. They're looking to try and catch this Jhin and Janna out, both low on mana. The event horizon comes out and Jhin flashes away.
very nice flash there by Jhin, and Clumsy Chocobo is actually going to try and make something happen here in the top lane, trying to respond. Not exactly the easiest thing to gank a Pantheon.
Yeah, they have that ultimate, but they opt not to try the dive.
Especially not, and that's going to be a really, really crucial Infernal Drake coming out there by Team Great.
We see Greg roaming down on the Orianna. He's got his ultimate up.
Oh,
And he catches two with it. But Iarian secures the dragon, and he's rooted down by the Deadly Flourish and dead. Good flash away by Opie.
And Opie wasn't able to get the kill there with his Dark Matter on Greg. And he's gonna be able to get out of there. Bounty actually flashes forward. He's gonna be able to pick up that kill.
Yeah.
Don't really know why he flashed forward. he had the stun there with the shield. Well,
Maybe he was. I didn't really see it, but maybe he was Maybe he was trying to preempt the Fiora flash, thinking she'd flash away to try to survive. But
I mean, maybe he was playing chess and he was three steps ahead.
Ayuri going down in the mid lane. Gurg pops the flash to try and get away, and the Ghost, he's got the speed.
He's gonna be able to get away from this. Actually, actually no. Elliot does get the claws. Still chasing, not gonna be able to pick up the kill.
And a failed blast cone. Flashes the mastery.
Meanwhile, down there in the bot lane, Bally actually came up to try and make something happen there.
And Ayurian's caught in the jungle trying to get that Scuttle Crab again. Gnarls Barkley's on top of him with Orianna in the backup. Pick up a kill.
And the Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, Elliot Ayurian just not really having a good time with that top Scuttle Crab. He's trying to take that without any vision outside. And team grabbed him by the Teemo, just pops in on him every time.
Yeah, I'm guessing he was just expecting Greg to go ahead and to go in back immediately because of he was really low health. So I guess he more or less understood that Greg wasn't going to be there, but you know, Gnarls Barkley asking for Greg to stay really helped him out there. And he might actually get caught here. He does repost the W coming out from Bounty. Pops the Youmu's.
And that spear shot with a full Youmu's. Ouch.
That's lethality, boys. Will Brooks actually getting caught out. Burns the flash again. I think it was a good flash.
Yeah, and if I'm Team Great, I'm looking down, I'm looking up, I see Pantheon's got a gigantic lead, I see bot lane's getting bullied out, and I send Pantheon bot to try and 4 or 5 man this and get bot lane back in this game.
Absolutely.
Ezreal's down 20 some odd farm. He's got his tier stacking, but he's got no completed items against that Jhin. And that Jin's caught by Opie.
Oh, it doesn't opt to get to ultimate there. I don't think he realizes that his that Vygar's ultimate, his dark matter, primordial burst.
Primordial burst
actually does a lot of damage, even if the champion isn't really building AP. It still does a substantial amount of damage, and probably could pick up the kill there.
And a missed shockwave by Greg there.
They get it back in the top lane with Clumsy Chocobo and Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much Opie plays this Vygar because they're going in hard and they've caught Jhin.
And an amazing event horizon by Opie, catching out Bearded Bear Lover, and the paranoia coming out from Elliot just secures that kill to its full extent. Opie still has the primordial burst. He can still try and grab a pick, or if Will Brooks can land a dark binding on Orianna, who doesn't have the ultimate right now, it could spell a lot of trouble. Janna is there with the shield, so it just really depends. Really depends on what they can bring out. But Clumsy Chocobo actually here now. Does not have ultimate from the kill that they got up lane with Bounty. Darkman binding not gonna hit.
Man, Ayurian and these Scuttle Crabs are not happening today. That's the 3rd one taken away from him.
Yeah, but this, at least this time his life wasn't taken as well.
Yeah, and I really want to look way back towards that dragon fight, because I noticed that Opie using the primordial burst very, very early on this Orianna. I don't know that he knows it's an execute now instead of enemy AP scaling, so we'll see how that plays out. If he's throwing that down too early in a fight, it's not going to get the damage output that you expect.
So, taking a look out of this game, or taking a subjective look from this game, we have a 3k gold lead coming out from Team Grabbed by the Teemo, but honestly that's perpetuated by the farm lead that they have in the mid lane, and in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that 3k gold lead's really showing itself in the mid lane. Orianna ahead 2,000 gold on the Vygar alone.
What was the button for gold?
X. If you have the scoreboard up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 6K, 65, trying to make it 7 for Greg. So you're definitely right on par with that. Ooh, gets a great binding there, and actually gets that Event Horizon. They're gonna try and make something happen. Ooh.
Oh, the Shockwave catches 3 members and just immediately forces Team Great back.
Opie's gonna have to go back and doesn't have the TP because he opted in for the barrier again, so he's not gonna be able to make it there for a while. Opie actually backed, and they're trying to fight. Bounty getting
Bounty's
caught.
caught.
Oh, but a
Excellent
very nice
flash away.
Yeah, excellent flash.
Here comes the curtain call. Oh, Arian goes right in on that and just try. Oh, wow.
You know, actually, that makes sense. Because Jin loses vision. So he can't actually get any vision from the curtain call, even if he does land the shots.
Yeah, and he noticed that the other team looked like they were getting ready to start dragging, so they left that Jin alone in the mid lane. He goes in, blows both Jin's summoner, flashes out. That's a summonerless AD carry.
And you know, I think now we realize the reason why he went Nocturne instead of the Rengar. Because in reality, he does hard counter Jin's curtain call with the Paranoia. Ooh, not exactly in the best position here. Clumsy Chocobo doesn't have his assault and battery.
Nope, and there's that Event Horizon coming out, doing exactly what they need to. They're trying to rotate around, take things, and just force the other team to back and stop and engage.
Opie, not exactly the best person right here to front line. But they just go ahead and take the tower, and looks like they're gonna go ahead and head out. All the meanwhile, Nars Barkley is pushing out bot right there. So.
Yeah, Gnarls Barkley opting to go for that Titanic Hydra. It looks like he's going to try to be a little bit tankier rather than having that dueling sustain, going for the teamfight side of Fiora. And Clumsy Chocobo flashes a little too late, still gets stunned, but back behind his turret.
Ooh, and
So that Morgana ult pulls 2 flashes actually out of Gurg and Clumsy.
yeah, True Shot Barrage actually not connecting with anybody there, unfortunately. Green Panda burning the ultimate to try and get them a little healthier, try and help out with this extended siege, but it doesn't look like Team Great is gonna want to go for it. Johnny trying to back. Does understand that Gnarls Barkley is just split with it. So at this point, Gnarls Barkley is just. Oh, the curtain call comes back out. Bounty's gonna be able to get out of there. Cyclo Boy is gonna be able to get out of there. So all in all, only one shot was made on the curtain call. That's not exactly the worst idea for a Fiora at this point, especially because he was, he lost lane against the Pantheon. So you know, curbing in team fights isn't exactly the best right now. So definitely using the dueling strength to push out a side wave and to keep up that pressure from Team Great.
Yeah, Nyarian doing that on the opposite side, backing, and he's headed top. We may see 2 ultimates come out to catch this Fiora here. Gnarls is a little far forward.
No, but he does have vision. The man drop does come through, but nothing really much comes out of it. Didn't really exactly have deep wards either. I guess Gnarls just opted to back out because of the fact that he didn't see Urian or...
and Opie catches 2 within his Event Horizon, and Gurg again with a missed shockwave on this Orianna.
Ooh.
Oh, and the Deathfire touch comes through, but Opie pays for it with his life after Bearded Bear Lover catches the Will Brooks. And so that's 2 down for Team Great.
So he does understand that it is an execute because we just saw it happen. So that's a good sign. But yeah, you know, it's I don't really know why I don't really know why Team Great. It looks as if they're behind, but everything else is saying that this is a really close match. You know,
Yeah,
it's only a 3K gold deficit. They're only a kill behind. They're only a tower behind. You know,
but the issue really is they're playing very far forward like they're ahead right now when Bounty's not in there with Pantheon. He's the one who's ahead. And Will Brooks is stepping in trying to catch bindings on people, and he's just getting poked out and killed off the backside of it.
so what do you think? What do you think right here? And actually, Will getting chunked out by one spell rotation there from Gurg. What exactly do you think Team Great have to do in this position? They're behind, but they're not so far behind to where they can't exactly take control of the map like they did game one.
I mean, really, they have the Pantheon who's ahead, building plenty of damage. They have the Nocturne, who's got some lethality out there, and they just need to hit this 1-3-1 up, try and force Team Grab Them by the Teemo to just split up, and then come in with their 2 semi-global ultimates and just force a fight, turn it into an instant 5v3. I mean, they have the disengage tools with the Vigar and Morgana and the Ezreal, and they can just avoid fights with the 3-man.
Curtain call coming out. Don't understand why the Ezreal tanked all of that.
Bounty actually canceled his back, even though he wasn't getting hit with that. But Team Great really needs to play to their composition that they picked, and they need to get that 1-3-1 split pushing going, and try to force Team Grab Them by the Teemo to split up.
Absolutely. So it looks like they're grouping again, and all the while Nars Barkley again is pushing out that side wave. They don't have the control to be able to push up so far, and I think you're absolutely right, Dylan, where they're playing as if they're ahead, when in reality they're not. Gnarls Barkley actually looking to grab this tower, but instead opts to back out as soon as they lose vision.
Yeah, and they're rotating down for this Earth Drake, which will really help Gnarls Barkley push out those lanes and get that turret damage down. Gurg caught inside the event horizon. Takes a Dark Matter.
It looks like this is going to be a free Earth, and no one's really mobilizing for Team Great to try and answer this. Ezreal 2-shot barrage comes through, but unfortunately a little early there.
Yeah, and it really would have been more beneficial towards Team Great to have those 2 Earth Drakes. Instead, they give them up to Grab Them by the Teemo, because Team Great's really the one who need to be split pushing down these turrets.
Absolutely. They do take top tower, so it wasn't a complete waste. So they go for the top tower trade.
They actually picked up that mid turret was still standing. Top tower had gone down quite a bit ago.
Yes, yeah, you're right. It was the mid turret.
And that's another good strength of Vigar. He has that infinitely scaling ability power. His basic attacks against towers deal magic damage based on his AP, and he can just chew through turrets as well. Curtain Call coming out, catching Vigar for 1, catching him for 2, and the 4th shot missing.
No, he's still not opting to tank those towers for his tank those shots for his teammates. Oh, and a beautiful Morgana binding, but it looks like Yuri's caught on the side.
A good flash over that wall to get away, and Vi still has her ultimate on that. Paranoia, he catches Gnarls on the side.
Don't think that's the intended target. Don't think that's the best target.
Oh, clumsy. Pulling through, delivering that ball for the shockwave.
Oh,
Bounty goes straight down. And Gnarls blown right back up in return. They just trade their top laners and a few ultimates.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Pantheon is so much more of a threat than Gnarls Barkley at this point. So really, Team Grab Them by the Teemo comes out ahead in that trade, because now they're missing a lot of the damage of the 6-2 Pantheon. I don't think they're going to be able to hold this turret. And Beardless Bearable actually flashing forward. He's going to get caught. Oh, and a great ultimate by Flame Candle is not going to be able to save his life.
But Psycho Boy picks him up with the damage.
what, Opie might have to opt out to get out of here.
And Psycho Boy closing in on that Mirror Mana stack. Greg flashes in. Can't get quite the damage he needs to finish them off.
Clumsy Chocobo does not have his assault dagger. So Bounty, actually here, they could try and make something happen, but it doesn't look like they're opting to do so. Would have been a 3v2.
Nyurian clearing out the top side farm. And it looks like our lanes will just reset off of that. Got some damage on the turret, traded a few flashes, and lost Bearded Bear Lover for it.
I'm really disappointed that Urion wasn't exactly able to really put forth the game that he wanted to on Nocturne so far, and it's not particularly his fault either. Bounty actually backing on top of a ward. Urion's like, you know what, I got that for you, buddy. And he actually gets picked. Oh!
Great flash out of the shockwave.
So is that a bait? Are we gonna call that? Are we gonna call that a calculated bait?
Gerg used his ghost for that, so they trade ghost and shockwave for flash. I think Bounty comes ahead on that one.
He also burnt. They also burnt the curtain call as well from the Jhin. So I don't think that was calculated, but hey, I could be completely wrong. In any case, they came ahead from that.
Yeah, he definitely did not see that coming. They don't have deep enough wards, and that was a pretty panic flash there.
A panic flash that worked, thankfully. All right, so now they can play around this. They don't have the ghost on the Orianna. We'll get the ultimate here in about 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, that thing's only on a minute cooldown right now.
Jeez, that's so low.
But Psycho Boy coming up on almost finishing the stacks for his Mirror Mana. That'll be a very huge boost for them in the next coming fights.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering, what is that BF sword building into?
Probably a Bloodthirster.
Ooh, Bearded Bear Lover getting absolutely popped. Chocobo trying to go 1-for-1 though.
The shockwave comes in, it catches Opie and pulls him with the dissonance, and Bounty goes down too. An excellent combination.
So
but this goes back to last game.
Yeah.
Jhin, this Bearded Bear Lover on this Jhin, he's just so confident. He pushes up solo, gets traded his life for it, but luckily his team was well aware and they rotated just in time to catch 2 off the backside.
And it doesn't look like they'll be able to take top tower from this. And meanwhile, Urion is just top lane, laying into this turret. I think he's going to be able to get. He's going to be able to get this top turret. Will he go for the inhib turret?
I don't think he'll be able to with Bearded Bear Lover there. He uses Paranoia to catch Gnarls Barkley out and be able to push that top side. That's really what Team Great needs, is they just need to utilize this Nocturne.
Absolutely. And it goes much to the same. It's sort of the same page with Elliot, with Urion on the Nocturne and Gnarls Barkley on the Fiora. Both are not exactly strong at this point to be able to team fight and to be able to come out ahead. So they're like, well, you know what? We'll just take our talents to the side lanes and we'll try and get an advantage off that. So both of them pretty much with the same game plan, and it's actually counteracting each other pretty well.
Yeah, this Nocturne has the slight advantage in that his crowd control is so predictable that Fiora can easily riposte it, but he just dark shields off the backside and nothing happens off of that, and he takes it with the auto attacks.
Yeah, and actually, if Urion is a little bit smarter, he can wait on those shackles. I don't know what they're called. His
Unspeakable Horror.
Yeah, his Unspeakable Horror. If he holds off on his Unspeakable Horror after the riposte, then it could be really bad for Gnarls Barkley on that Fiora. Because that's sort of the same thing that Camille does with her grapples. Is she grapples off to the wall, waits for the riposte. Oh, and Opie actually
here he comes straight on a Bearded Bear Lover.
Bearded Barrel is not going to be able to get out either.
He's almost to that one-shot status. It just took one extra little auto, and Opie takes a turret so he can get out of there. Meanwhile, Clumsy taking the top lane turret. He's going to continue pushing while Team Greats grouped up as 5 in this mid lane trying to go for inhib turret.
Fleeing Panda not exactly in the best position right now. Kind of precarious, but decides to go back around. It looks like Gnarls Barkley is going to try and opt to get the bag, but he actually gets caught instead. That may be his life, and an excellent riposte. Yeah. Really, really good on the side of Gnarls Barkley. That was a bait.
Yeah, Team Great just not able to chain it in time, and Gnarls has that half second between the stuns to pop the riposte and stun them up and get out of there.
Looks like they're going to try and go for Clumsy here. They do have the numbers. You got Ezreal, but he's being chased by Fleeing Panda and Gnarls Barkley. It actually looks like he's in a worse situation right now. Clumsy actually going to opt to try and ult him. Bounty getting caught out. Not going to be able to get the kill. Psycho Boy getting taken down by Clumsy Chocobo. Urion is now in a bad situation. They are all caught, and I don't think they're going to be able to get out of there. Urion's probably going to go down. No, but Will Brooks actually saving him with the Dark Binding. Oh, and another flash open.
Excellent shockwave.
He's been looking for that all game, and he finally gets it. Gnarls
TPing bot. Looks like they're going to try to push 2 turrets down at once.
Oh, why not?
Bearded Bear Lover opens up the curtain call.
Oh no, he's actually not going to be able to dodge all of them. He's going to get dove, and that's going to be an ace coming over from grabbed by the Timo.
And that's going to be 2 inhibitor turrets down because Gnarls TP'd down to that bot lane, pushing it in.
Actually, it might only be 1. Yeah.
Bounty respawns just in time to go save that.
Yeah, I don't think Gnarls exactly had the mana to be able to push it out. He's actually staying. I don't think this is a good move. Oh.
His team's looking for Baron. He's just going to try and stall for that.
It's actually a pretty smart move. It looks like they're going to be able to get the Baron. They do have a ward on it. Ezreal probably going to look for the True Shot Barrage to get the steal. Doesn't look like he's... No, it's going to come out really late.
They only had some inkling. He used that Farsight totem to get the original sight, but Baron was at 8,000 health at that point. He just had to guess and just a little bit late. Oh, Aerian going on a Bearded Bear Lover again and absolutely annihilated.
Oh no. Okay.
Wow.
Alright, so Urion basically saying, hey look, you're gonna need to start focusing me now because I am the captain now.
Yeah, he hit that 3 item. He finished up his Maw Malmortius, giving them that extra attack damage, and he's got his Ghost Blade with the lethality in there. He just destroys Bearded Bear Lover, who has no armor to speak of whatsoever.
Yeah, and also Fleeing Panda actually is... I mean, what do you do against that? What do you do against that sort of assassination? You know, because most AD carriers would be like, okay, well, I'll just build a Mercurial Scimitar, because I have the Quicksilver Sash in there. But what do you do at that point? Because like a lot of the damage is coming from the actual Paranoia and the auto attack resets. So how exactly do you go up against that?
Do you really want to know what I do against that as an AD carry?
Yeah, absolutely.
I build the Sonya's Hourglass. That's how I deal with that.
Are you being 100% with me?
I'm 100% serious. Oh, and Psycho Boy fires the ult the wrong way.
It doesn't look like it'll matter. Oh, well, actually...
Gnarls trades back Aerian, getting that ult for the extra damage down.
Yeah, but Team Raven by Team are actually not in the best place right now. Oh, but it looks like they're going to try and fight this. Clumsy Chocobo does have his Assault and Battery. Oh, no, amazing.
Opens up the curtain call. Psycho Boy's... Yep, down. Snagged by the Assault and Battery.
Opie had an amazing Event Horizon there on Clumsy Chocobo, and not the most optimal path coming out from Psycho Boy. But it does look like they might be able to get Gurg here on the back end. Flashes forward, gets the stun, gets 2 of them.
Excellent. Wow, the damage coming out from that. Damage coming out from that combo is just ridiculous, and Opie's not building any magic resist to respect that. He gets caught. He's getting deleted.
Wait. Are you kidding me? Okay, so the more you know. I actually did not know Monsoon healed the minions as well. I actually didn't know that. Fun fact.
Yeah, I thought it was champions only. All nearby allies. Yep, there it is. And they're gonna rotate down and take this Elder Drake. I don't think Team Great's gonna be able to get there in time.
Pops of Paranoia. I don't think he has vision of anybody, so it's gonna go on deaf ears. Deaf ears.
No, and that's an interesting choice to go with this Oracle lens instead of the Farsight Totem, which synergizes very well with the Paranoia. You throw the Paranoia and you throw down a Farsight Totem trinket, and you can just ult right into whoever you please.
So, Team Grab Them by the Teemo, more or less, have a pretty good hold on this game. 2 inhibs down. Baron's not going to be up for another, I believe, it's not going to be up for a while. So really here, what does Team Great do to try to get back into this? The Pantheon has already fallen off. He is building a lot more tankier. He's going to Raptor Cloak. I'm guessing that's probably going to go into a ZZ Rot. So at this point, what exactly are you going to try and look for if you are Team Great?
I'm really just gonna look for Aerian being able to get that pick with the Paranoia and get rid of that Orianna, because that Shockwave is just becoming a huge factor. After a few missed early Shockwaves, Gerg is starting to hit 2 and 3 man Shockwaves, and the damage off of that with the dissonance is just forcing Team Great off of objectives and giving really, really great control to Team Grab Them by the Teemo.
Absolutely. Yuri Belo, we're actually popping the curtains call. Trying to get a little bit more pressure, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. Ball is on Clumsy Chocobo.
Oh, Gerg caught by a binding. And he goes in for Bearded Bear Lover again, but really, really great peel by that Janna to knock Aerian off. And his GA's popped.
Looks like he will try and be able to get away. Another amazing Event Horizon by Oki to peel off for Aerian, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. 3-man ultimate.
Flashes in with the Shockwave, and that just may secure the game there.
3-man ultimate there from Greg.
3 players down for Team Great, and I think Grab Them by the Teemo takes game 2 as well.
GG. Man, oh man. So just more or less recap that game. It was close. It was a lot closer than the second game there from Team Great. But again, Greg just essentially he had a bit of a rough start, missing a couple of flash ultimates. But like
More
you
than
said,
a couple.
well, I mean, I'm trying to help him out here, but in any case, you know, he missed a couple of flash ultimates there, so that really put him on the back foot. But like you said, he got warmed up, as they say, and he started just outputting some major damage and essentially pacifying any sort of engage that Team Great tried to make there. If I'm Team Great, I absolutely agree with you because, well, actually no, because with Urian on the Nocturne, I don't exactly think that Gerg 7 would have been the most viable target either, because Gerg 7 has that Zhonya's, that counter pick that you would build as an AD carry. So, you know, I don't really know, like, late game what Team Great could have done to counteract that huge disengage that they had from Fleeing Panda on the Janna and the shockwaves coming out from Orianna.
Yeah, it really comes down to where in the middle game they really didn't utilize the composition they had, where they had the Pantheon who was ahead and they had the Nocturne that wanted to split push, and they didn't go for that 1-3-1 and try and get turrets down and apply map pressure. to Team Grab Them by the Teemo, and they let Team Grab Them by the Teemo dictate that the pace of that game, trying to group up and force team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we are now back at that time again with MVP votes. Fortunately, we don't have three, so if we have a if we have a discretion, we're gonna have to play fisticuffs or something. So so game one, who do you have to give your MVP vote to?
Oh, it's a really tough question. It's probably going to end up going to, in my opinion, Girk 7 on that Ziggs. He got that early lead with one or two of ganks, and he continued to apply pressure. He kept safe in the back line, didn't take too much poke, didn't get engaged on, and was able to shred down turrets and put out the team damage and help get the picks.
I agree with you, but man, honestly speaking, I may have to give it to the Jin. Um, and my reasoning for that is because yes, I do understand that Greg pulled out an immense amount of damage, an immense amount of map pressure with the Ziggs and whatnot. I completely understand that. But at the same time, he also had a lot of clumsy Chocobo's help to secure a lot of that early lead in order for him to get into the mid game, and then he just essentially became what Ziggs is known for. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Bearded Bear Lover had everything under control, in my honest opinion. He never really got rattled. He never really. I mean, he got overshadowed, in my opinion, by Greg and Clumsy Chocobo, game one, but he did his job very proficiently to the point to where I want to give him the MVP vote because of the fact that he didn't overstep his boundaries as an AD carry trying to make something happen.
Yeah, and he really had good presence in that lane with the Morgana behind him, and he didn't let the early dying to a pre-6 Diana. That feels terrible, but he didn't let that get to him. He kept up the pressure, and I see where you're coming from there. He came back from that lane.
Okay, so mm, I think I'm okay with giving it to Greg though, to be completely honest, because even though I made the big case for Bearded Bear Lover and whatnot, because I need to show my AD carries love. I know y'all don't really get a lot of MVP votes and whatnot, but man, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I realize that Greg just put out like some substantial damage. So, uh, just by I guess by logic and numbers alone, I would give it to Greg. So Greg is gonna end up being the MVP for game one. Um, MVP for game two. Who do you got?
Uh, Honestly, looking back at that game, I'm gonna want to have to go with Fling Panda on that. He played a very solid Janna down in that bot lane, allowing Bearded Bear Lover to step up and really harass with the Janna shields and the good tornadoes there. And then in that end game fight, he really shone through. He timed his ultimate just perfectly to where Nocturne finished diving in with his paranoia, during which he is unstoppable. He can't be crowd controlled. And he timed that ultimate, so right when he landed, he knocked him away immediately. And he played a very good support fight on the back end of that, keeping his entire team safe, healing him up when he needed, and making sure that Bearded Bear Lover didn't go down to that Nocturne.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. I was actually just thinking that because he's boasting a score right now as a support as a 0-0-15. That's something he didn't die. That's an accomplishment all on its own because of given the fact that look at the other team's team comp. A Pantheon, a Nocturne, a Vagar. It's very hard to be able to boast that kind of score. But I absolutely do agree, and also he really helped out Greg. He kept Bearded Bear Lover alive, but he really helped out Greg, who was struggling just a little bit. Like I mean, not he was struggling. Greg was struggling in the beginning of the game because of those couple of missed ultimates. But beyond that, he took a lot of the assassination away from the Pantheon and from the Vagar as, not only just the Nocturne. So I think that, his role as a support just really, really really shown out. And the scoreline might have been completely different if he didn't get those clutch Eye of the Storms and those really, really crucial monsoons.
Yeah, and I wanna point out this Ward place score. He placed far beyond any amount of wards that anyone else had. He threw down 32 wards in that game, really keeping the vision up for his team and really allowing them the map control so that they could just roam down as four and get some picks here and there.
Absolutely. All right, so I guess we're in agreement that MVP for Game Two will go to Fleeing Panda. So we'll go ahead and try and grab them up for an interview. I'll be right back.
Any fantasy team, we would be putting in fucking work.
Figured.
All right.
Of course.
I'm salty.
What is up, Greg?
Yo, what's going
How
on,
you
guys?
doing? How you doing on this fine night tonight?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. So you actually got MVP for Game One. That amazing Ziggs play, or rather, doing what Ziggs is supposed to do in the lane, and just harassing and taking.
What are you trying to
towers
say?
and
I'm not a
taking
good
lanes.
Ziggs player?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
I'm
is that
just
you did what a Ziggs player should do, and you did it very proficiently. So let me go ahead and start you off with the first question. Why the Ziggs? Other than the fact that he's obviously OP, other than the fact that that most people don't exactly know how to play against the Ziggs, why did you think that Ziggs was the perfect mesh for your comp?
I mean, I just think it was just one of those situations in which it wasn't necessarily a comp pick, more so just I felt comfortable on playing it. Like we saved it for last pick mid lane, and once we saw he was Varus, I was like, all right, well, I just want to go something long range, so I don't have to take auto attacks from him. And then something that basically once we get into team fights, I know I'll be relevant on. I mean, we had Eric on the Shen, and we had Julio on Vi, so we had our front line engage. So like anytime they were able to land any kind of CC at all, I would just throw my ultimate on top of it. So, it was kind of more of an individual pick. I just really wanted to play Ziggs, and it just worked really well with the comp.
Okay. Dylan, you got a question?
Uh,
Why
no,
am I
can't.
shitty at Oriana?
Yeah.
I can answer that question.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
if you really want to slip into Game Two, you can, Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess really, what kind of mindset did that put you in? With I think you missed three shockwaves. Two of them you flashed for. I mean, what? How does that get into your head, and how do you come back from that towards the
Oh,
end of the
I
game?
was 100% tilted. I mean, I was like, I'm fucking horrible. And I mean, there was a point in the game where we were down. I mean, well, when we looked at the stats, we were never down gold at all. We literally never had a gold deficit that entire second game, but it felt like we were losing. But like, there was that one play after we went bottom lane and we kind of all died, where I was like, guys, like, we gotta fucking stop dicking around. And I was like, this, like, let's get serious. Let's win. And everyone was kind of like, yeah, like we let's do this. Like, let's focus. And so like, it was kind of one of those things where we all across the board weren't having a very good early game. And Julio was the one that kind of came out with a positive KDA. I think Roberto was even or above anyway. I mean, I was even or above too, but I definitely was not playing well. But so like once it hit that like mid game kind of thing, we were just like, let's just win the game. Like let's focus, let's buckle down. So it got to me, but like I knew that if I just like I can miss every single flash ultimate in the world until I hit the one that kills 2 or 3 of them and we win the game. So that's kind of the advantage of Oriana. And so we just kind of played for that. And then, like that last team fight, Julio was just so tanky on Vi, and Eric was just putting in work on their back line while we were peeling off the Nocturne. So, it was just kind of one of those situations in which we just waited for our team fight, and when we had it, we took advantage of it.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna take you back to Game One, because it was a pretty obvious victory, for lack of a better word. what exactly do you take away from that game? Because a lot of people say that you learn your best, you learn the best, or you learn the most off of your failures, but it didn't really seem like you guys had that many failures that game. So what exactly do you take away from game one and you apply it to game two? Because it's very easy for a lot of teams to sort of slip up, and like you said, you guys were dicking around. Um, in game two after that amazing game one win. What exactly do you think you have to work on to make that transition a little bit better?
Well, I think game two we tried to kind of mix things up a little bit. Eric went the Fiora top. I went Oriana. I was thinking about going another long range mid or maybe even like an assassin. But we kind of mixed it up game two a little bit. We didn't really do what we've practiced a lot, and so I think that kind of hurt us a little bit. We didn't really weren't really used to it as much as we were used to. But I think the biggest thing I take out of game one is just overall how can we improve communication. We had such a big gold lead, but like honestly, we could have ended that game way sooner than we did. I think if we had kind of pushed a little more and taken advantage of that, we might have been able to kind of bring out that win. I honestly think it's just about communicating how we can be as most effective with our gold lead as we can. Like we had that gold lead, but I think it was still like a 30-minute game, 33-minute game. We had like a 16K gold lead at the end. If you have a 16K gold lead and you're not ending before like 25, 30 minutes, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those situations, and just how can we make it even cleaner? It was good, but how can we make it that much better?
Okay. Dylan, do you have any follow-up question?
Dylan's like, never play Oriana again.
No. Going into that second game, and you see the Pantheon Nocturne, and after Nocturne fell a little bit behind, he was still able to put out that single target damage. What really was your plan to deal with those two? Because if they jump on someone, that person's dead. How do you play against that?
Well, Panda was on Janna, so that helped a lot. He was like 0-0-15. So honestly, it was like we knew between Oriana shields and just Janna, we could peel them off. Like the Pantheon had to go like Banshee's Veil at the end, so he wasn't like, and he kind of fell off a little bit. Like he's like Eric caught up into him and farm in the top lane. So really the only threat was the initial burst from the Nocturne ultimate, and if Pantheon could get on us. So anytime Nocturne ulted in at all, Panda generally exhausted him right away or ulted right away. So Janna kind of counteracted that a lot, which helped significantly. So that was kind of the way we played with that, is honestly just relying on our shields and the Janna. And then when Nocturne ults in, I would flash before he would hit me so that he would actually hit me after I flashed. I don't know if you guys caught that badass play I made.
No, yeah, I caught it a couple times.
Yeah, it was rough. No, but I mean that was it. Just Janna being able to peel. Like when we saw Pantheon and Nocturne and Champion Select, we were like, all right, let's go with the Janna because it's so good at peeling, those high damage dealers. Plus Oriana's the utility, so I can just put my ball on someone, and then slow the enemy and also provide pretty good peel.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I mean, I'm out of questions. Dylan, you good?
I think that's enough for now.
All right. Well, congratulations on your game one victory, and congratulations on getting MVP for game one, dude. Really crazy Ziggs play, and in the end, you did put in a lot of work on that Oriana. So mad props to you for that. And man, we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, thanks guys. Have a good night.
All right, you too, man. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and grab Panda. I'll be right back.
Play a game.
Oh, ooh, Panda.
Support love.
Is he even here, Panda?
Mm-hmm.
Panda.
What's going on?
Yo, what's up, Panda? How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good. All right, so me and Dylan were unanimous. It's only 2 votes, but we were unanimous in deciding you for MVP for game 2. Main reason why is you did your job with that Janna to the not only to the best of your ability, I mean, just through the scoreline, perfectly. Can you? So, Greg took us. My first question. Greg took us a little bit into why you picked the Janna or why they needed the Janna and whatnot. I understand that you play a lot of Leona as your main support.
Yes.
So, what exactly are the differences between those champions? Because I understand that Leona is one of your biggest picks because it's not only your best pick, it's your comfort pick as well. So, how do you exactly change gears from a Leona into a Janna and, make a lot of other Janna mains, jealous and look like they're doing an absolutely terrible job? How do you make that transition and how do you do it well?
Oh, so one of the things I think we ran across early in the LCS was I was picking that Leona if it was available, and to me it seemed like it didn't add anything when another team had something like a Vi or Hecarim or something very dive heavy, and it just ran straight for Greg, straight for Roberto, and just took him out, right? So it seemed to me like we needed to make a switch to something that could peel better, hence more of the Morgana, Janna picks that I've been picking up here recently. So the idea is just kind of like, what can I use to peel off for everybody else? Because I'm not as skilled mechanically as some of these other guys. So it's more just like, what can I do to contribute to the team? I can ward and I can peel. With the Leona, I'm trying to make picks, and it works sometimes, but if it's getting to a later game, the peel becomes just that much more important than actually making the pick.
All right, Dylan, what you
Yeah.
got?
And so, how difficult is it to switch from that dive and stun mentality to the just sitting back behind your carry and keeping them safe?
It's not that bad. I mean, the way I play Leona is I actually use it in wait and see kind of thing. Like unless there's like there's something just very obvious, somebody steps too far, and then I jump them. So I kind of play Leona in the same fashion of it's a little bit of a wait and see approach, and with Janna it's the same concept. Wait and see what they're gonna do. Shield, peel.
All right, all right. One comment that Dylan actually made was your wards. 32 wards placed that entire game. Most out of anybody, and you doubled and tripled a lot of other people's ward coverage. Um, Speaking from a support aspect and whatnot, it's important to place wards, and every support in the PMA LCS or any support in general should be placing that amount of wards. What kind of goes through your mind to sort of always remember to ward, if that makes any sense? How do you remind yourself? Because I know me as a player, I should be warding a hell of a lot more than I do, but it sort of like goes on the back burner of my mind. How do you always remind yourself?
So when I was learning to play the game, one of the first things that one of my friends that got me into the game was saying is you must ward constantly so you can see where the other team's at. And that kind of stuck is like, because I was growing up pretty big into those RTS games like Age of Empires, things like that, where fog of war becomes a huge issue when you can't see what the hell's going on somewhere else. And so the concept of a ward to me is actually very intriguing, that I can place something and then see what's going on there. And I can use that information to help inform my team who's where, who's doing what. And so it just kind of was ingrained at a very early time that I needed to be warding just constantly. And then as I progressed in the game, it's like, okay, now where to place the ward? Okay, you got to put them in entrances to jungle. You got to put them in entrances to the river. So I don't know. I just always think about, okay, there's not vision here. I need to see what's going on. Kind of that scout mentality. That's why I like Teemo. You can put the shrooms everywhere, and they can act as my wards. And so instead of just being capped at 3 wards, I can have 3 wards and then 20 shrooms, and I know where everything is.
All right, Dylan, what you got?
All right, so you have this mentality of always keeping the wards. Do you translate that into making sure your team keeps up wards? And if you guys don't have vision, are you making the calls like, hey, Clumsy, come with me. We need to help. We need to place these wards together so we can do it safely. any of that kind of deal? Are you making those calls for the vision, or are you just kind of passively doing it on your own?
For the most part, is passively doing it on my own. However, there are some calls that Greg or somebody else will make that says, "Hey, we need to go ward this place. You go do that." Okay, it's kind of already on the way there, anyways. But yeah, it's nice to have some help just in case I get jumped. Because I don't know if you noticed there in the first game when I was on Morgana, there were a couple times when I was out warding
Mm-hmm.
and ended up getting caught on the wrong side of the Baron or the Dragon Pit.
Mm.
Right. So there were two of those instances that I remember, and I just kept thinking, "Oh, come on, really? Like I know better. I know they're probably there, but I'm gonna stick the ward there anyways,
Mhm.
and then find them, and then they try and kill me." So, you know. But yeah, it's just ward, ward, ward. If you're a support main, ward. Like that is your biggest job. You have to ward. The most infuriating thing in solo queue is when people don't ward.
Oh man,
At least to me.
oof. Oh no, I'm right there with you, man. It's always disheartening when you're in a ranked game and you know you have a support and he only puts up like 7 or 8 and then complains that he can only place down 3 wards.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, I definitely understand that, man. But I mean, I don't have any more questions. Dylan, you good or
No.
you got another one?
Yeah, I think we're good for tonight.
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good, man. Well, dude, congratulations on MVP for Game 2 on that amazing Janna. Just really doing your job and whatnot, and not really overextending to really make anything happen. You know, you sort of we sort of gave it to you because of that reaction time. So, you know, keep it up, man, and good luck on the next one.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, see you later, man. All right. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us here. Now, a couple of announcements. Again, we do have that donation button down there in the bottom. I believe right now we're still at the 150 mark. If I'm not, no, we're at the 100 mark. And we're trying to get up to the 150 mark. So, guys, it really, really does show how much you guys enjoy watching, and it really makes us feel good as players as well, knowing that you guys are being entertained and whatnot. So you know, it does a lot to really incentivize us to play, especially because you know there are going to be some sweet prizes at the end, and it also incentivizes for more people to get involved as well. And get more people, more teams, more action. So definitely, if you guys have a couple bucks, we don't say no to anybody. Definitely, if y'all can help us out there. Also, give us a follow on the Twitch channel. It'll let you know whenever we go live, any single time. We don't exactly have a set schedule for any new viewers that might be out there. We don't have a set schedule, so it'll help you know when we go live. Because we're working around 10 different schedules every single game. So it'll help you out with that. Also, to those people that constantly come in every single game to watch, to, you know, kick back and watch brothers beat the absolute hell out of each other, shout out to you guys because it really does make a difference, and, you know, it makes it that much more fun, especially on the page when we're talking shit about each other. And now that we're starting to get a little bit of a fantasy aspect to it, it really helps it really helps us out. So make sure you give us that follow button. We're sitting right now at 1767 is what I have right here on mine, on my viewer count. So we'll definitely hit that 2K viewer, guys, and honestly speaking, that's way more than we had ever expected, but we do need a little bit more. So, you know, tell your friends, tell other brothers that may not play the game, but, you know, are friends with other brothers, and be like, hey, I'm going to go play, and, you know, you're going to watch me wreck on some scrubs, and then you're going to end up feeding, but that's fine because they're still going to watch you, and, you know, you get a little bit more of that aspect. So definitely try and let you know whenever we start streaming and whatnot. Tomorrow, Team Great is actually going to try and hit a back-to-back, or actually, well, they're gonna try and salvage a win tomorrow against my team, Seven Deadly Sins. That's gonna be coming on tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys can make it out there, definitely recommend that you guys show up and everything. Is going to be a great game. I know I'm excited for it, but you know I'm always excited to play. and whatnot. And we'll have more matches scheduled at a later date. So make sure you keep an eye on that Facebook page to let you know whenever we do go live and whenever we have games coming up. But that pretty much wraps it up for me. Dylan, you got anything else?
No, that was just a couple good matches and hopefully some good matches to come, and I'm looking forward to them.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for the stream. So we're gonna go ahead and sign off. This has been Sebastian Light Pulse 94 Alarcon,
Joined by Dylan, General Dill Ortenzi.
and we'll catch y'all in the next one, guys.